Well, it certainly seems like the Transnet strike is now well and truly over. UNTU, of course, signed earlier this week, and now Satawu has called off its strike. That happened earlier today. But they say they are still trying to negotiate a better deal for their workers because they're unhappy with what UNTU got, which, of course, is a 6% increase for years 1 and 3 and a 5.5% increase for the second year. Our reporter Nqobile Madlala joins us now from our Durban studio to bring us the latest. Well, I suppose the good news really now is that everyone can get back to work. This time yesterday, there were real fears that Satawu might try and intimidate UNTU workers from going back to work. So it will be all hands on deck. Just tell us exactly what Satawu is saying about their position. They're back at work, but they're not happy with the deal. So have they actually signed it, or are they holding off on signing it and trying to do some last-minute negotiations?
Well, according to some of the leaders, we were told that Satawu has not yet signed. But they have, of course, spoken to the people that are part of Satawu to say that they can go back to work. It's very important that they do, mainly because they're saying that the strike is now going to be unprotected. They have received a letter coming from Transnet saying that it is now an unprotected strike. So it's very important that they go back to work because, of course, you will understand that this will have its own implications if they do continue. But what they have said, Sally, is that whilst they haven't not yet signed, what they will be doing is, in the background, they will have conversations with the employer. They will try to reason with them. This is mainly because the workers wanted that 15% in the beginning. It has dropped now to 6% as UNTU has now signed. But Satawu still remains saying that it needs to be above inflation. So those are some of the things that they still need to highlight and have a conversation with Transnet regarding. And so they have asked their workers to go back, but with an understanding that it's not over yet, even though the strike is indeed over. Let's listen in.
Here to inform our members that we call off the strike. We request them to report for duty tomorrow and give us Chief National Office bearers a chance to pursue the engagement with the employer on the issues that we are not happy about. As we have made it clear to them, Satawu did not sign the agreement, but we are still engaging with the employer, and we hope that our engagement with the employer will bear positive results.
So it sounds a little bit like Satawu was pushed into a corner because they would have been on an illegal strike if they didn't get back to work. So how are workers feeling? What are they saying?
Well, Sally, you could see the conflicts there when we were on the ground, that the workers were really not pleased with the decision. It seems from the conversations that they had before the strike, there was an agreement that they needed to at least get 10% out of the strike, and now they're getting 6%, which is what they were not hoping for. So this is not the mandate that they had asked their leaders to go forward with. So a lot of them has even gone as far as asking Satawu if they are now led by UNTU, because at this time they are finding themselves having to follow a different organization. They were even asking some of the national leaders why they were on the ground only now and why have they not been visible all along. So there seems to be a bit of conflict there, and workers are really unhappy with what's on the table. But there is an agreement that they are going to go back to work. Others were even asking if it's important to go back to work now, or rather just go back to work next week. So there seems to be some conflict, but there also seems to be some conflict between the two unions, which is UNTU and Satawu. From what we could pick up, Sally, they were saying that with UNTU signing, that meant that now they go on an unprotected strike, which means they are being backed against that corner. And because now they are in that position, then they had no choice but to basically sign. So it does seem like it was a pressing decision, but one that they're not willing to let go of. But they are worried about the fact that this is 3 years deal, which means that there's quite a lot that they cannot negotiate immediately if they do sign. But let's listen in.
They are very disappointed because the agreement that has been signed by UNTU is not representing their mandate. The mandate that they gave us was that we need to go and negotiate 13.5% or anything above the inflation rate. However, the other union that we're negotiating with went behind our back and signed a 6% that is below the inflation rate, and also signed an agreement that is not clear in terms of the retrenchment. So workers are not happy about that, as they give us a mandate to go and engage with the employer, even though they are returning back to work.
All right, so all union members are back to work. Now, let's hope we see the ports are being cleared of that backlog really, really soon. Thank you so much for that update. Nqobile Madlala coming to us live from our Durban studio.